Hi, with me tonight is Daniel Kapadia. Danny, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I just had some rakia, or rakia. Rakia. Yeah, it was nice.
So this is your first time here?
It is. Hopefully not the last.
I hope so. Well, when did you arrive?
I arrived yesterday, and essentially me and James came a little bit later than everybody else because we had a lot of matches scheduled for Face League, so we had to do those matches, but they still wanted us to come for the weekend at the very least. But those matches got cancelled, so then we'd had a lot less work to do. We arrived on Friday, and everything was going on. There's a lot of DDoS, a lot of problems, and I was having sports massage, and then I went to sleep.
That's good. Have you had time to go around the city?
I haven't had any time to do anything yet. I would love to. I'm leaving on Monday, so I don't get much time. So I'm hoping that there might be something like a couple hours, here or there that would work out, so I could see something. But I've heard a lot of really good things about Belgrade and Serbia in general. Okay. I lived with a Serbian guy for a really super long time. It felt like my entire life because it was so long, and I thought it would never end. Okay. But eventually, it was over. And but I heard a lot of cool things about Serbia from him, and the food so far is from the little I've experienced has been very good. So I really want to come back to Belgrade.
Well, that's nice to hear. Have you tried any food?
Just I don't know what it was called, but some kind of burger thing and some veal and some various stuff for the breakfast buffet. I don't know. That's about it, but it was good. Maybe
pljeskavica?
That's probably what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what about Serbian girls?
Well, Eastern Europe is like god tier for chicks. It's like ridiculous. So the stereotype with England is kind of true, but I'm kind of lucky. In London, it's very diverse. So you see chicks from all over you see girls from all over the world essentially. So it's not quite the stereotype of England in London, which is where I live. But yeah, in general, Eastern Europe, like Slavic-looking girls are absolutely gorgeous. So it's nice.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So. How do you like the organization of eFrag?
Well, I definitely, this is a new thing for them, and there's obviously been a lot of issues, and sometimes it just takes, one small oversight, and it can topple an event, for example. And in this situation, the issues with all the DDoS and so on, and the DDoS protection have been a really big deal. So obviously that's been the major issue at this event, and it looks really bad, of course, when one thing goes wrong, and with DDoS, it's. If you don't have like a secure network, or and anyone can do it as well, it's just horrendous. And the ISP went down as well, so it's pretty serious DDoS as well. So I don't know, it's growing pains is what I would call it.
Well, from the start there were like 77 nations, 1,000 players in it, and it came down only to 8 of them. What are your predictions about tomorrow? Who's going to enter the finals?
Well, on paper, France is. Got an amazing lineup. I mean, that lineup for France is essentially a team, and they've basically all played together like at various times, so they have an advantage from that perspective. They also have the advantage that they're probably some of the most skilled players in the tournament. Just so they have on paper the best lineup, but they did lose to Poland, and Poland has a good lineup too. But on paper, it's not nearly as good as the French one. So there's obviously something going a little bit wrong there. So it's going to be really interesting to see how it actually develops, because Russia has a really good lineup as well, and they've been having some good games. So they're actually trying to finish their match right now as we're doing this interview. But I would expect France and Russia to be there, but I think that's what everybody expects.
And what do you think? Who's gonna win this tournament?
I have to say France. I mean, it's just. Some people say, I've got a gut feeling this team's going to win, but usually I like to go with what I think statistically makes the most sense. I like to be boring and analytical about things, so I would say France.
Have any of the players stood out, like the unknown ones?
I think, I don't want to say players, but I want to say Kyrgyzstan. I don't think anyone really expected anything from Kyrgyzstan, but they managed to do it like pretty damn well actually. And that's the best thing about the Nations Cup is that I don't know. I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of people that didn't even know Kyrgyzstan was a place, let alone played Counter-Strike and had a CS team that actually can do a lot of damage. And the Nations Cup is a great way for some of these players to get known. So yeah, I just want to give the shout-outs to Kyrgyzstan. So I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, and do you think that any of the big players are going to pick those unknown ones?
I think it's really hard to say right now because the only out of the big teams at the moment, the movements seem to kind of have settled a little bit. There's not a lot of flux in, let's say, there's I think G2 and Hellraisers have been like the most. They've been the two teams that have been looking for somebody recently, but they've kind of solved that issue before this event. So I feel like everything's kind of stable at the top level at the moment. I don't think any of the big names are looking for anyone right now. But the thing is that all it takes is to get a little bit known from an event like this, and then, for example, to qualify or get vouched in by the pro players for, let's say, the Face It Pro League, and then all of a sudden, you can get the opportunities and the exposure you need, so the players can notice you, and eventually maybe they'll start mixing with you, and they'll feel like, okay, this guy, we want him as our 6th or 7th player or something like that, and then before you know it, a few months down the line, maybe they're unhappy with their lineup, and boom, one of these players makes it in. I couldn't say who it would be right now. Kyrgyzstan had a really good AWPer, but yeah, we'll see.
So, do you have any shout-outs?
Well, shout out to myself because I'm awesome. No, I definitely. I have to say, lately, considering all the because as of doing this interview, I think yesterday it was announced that I'm doing the major, and so for me, like, I've been doing casting for 3 years, and so for me this feels like the biggest kind of achievement, the biggest thing career-wise. So actually, it reminds me of where I've come from in this huge journey for me, because I gave up a lot to do all of this. I put in a lot of like hard work and passion, but it wouldn't be for anything if I didn't get the opportunities. Mm-hmm. So I actually want to give a shout out to the guys at Face It, and specifically Faz, and who's a Quake player, a Swedish Quake player, and also a guy called Ale, like Sturmy, who people will know as well, because those are two guys that essentially were able to kind of give me the opportunity to even do any of this. So, and it was at a timing where I could definitely be doing something else. So yeah, so that's how I feel in this moment, right? So I'm gonna go with that.
So thank you for your time, and it was a pleasure interviewing you.
Let's high five.
We're gonna go out tonight, no?
Sure, that's it.
Yeah.
More IKEA.